this event, and boy, she really struck a nerve. This is such a fun event. We have 200 plus people on the line today. So I know you're going to learn a lot. You're going to be super motivated to sell so much after we hang up on this event today. So wanted to introduce myself. My name is Catherine Harrington. I'm the very, very proud president and CEO. And we are thrilled today that you'll be hearing from top sales leaders in our region. On our panel today includes Carly Babington, TJ Bangs, Tori Glade, backed by popular demand and Best of the West winner, Adam Kaduce, Josh Terrell, and Steve Utsler. Now, all of our programming for this year revolves around special themes. They are progress, positivity, possibility, and perseverance. And we are proud to present these incredible leaders that are working hard on behalf of our community to make it a better place. We'd like to thank Bank Iowa for helping to make this event possible. And we want to thank today's attendees, city officials that are on the line with us today, members, board ambassadors, community, and our stellar, hardworking chamber team. That includes Kara Matheson, Anna Dowd, Nicole Langmaid, and Bailey First. And a big thanks to Bailey First, who is running our official Zoom program today with help from Kara Matheson, because there is a fire right now in our office, literally. So Kara is stepping in to run our Zoom today because hopefully it won't be on fire too long. We've got some documents there I'd like to save. All right. So a reminder, everybody, we are recording, so smile big for the camera. Keep your mics muted and use the chat box to express your appreciation for your chamber family, for what you are hearing. And we're all about love here at the West Des Moines Chamber of Commerce. So we really want you to express your love for what's going on here today. We also want to show our love, take a moment to thank our first responders and critical care workers that have been working so hard during this challenging time. You know, the chamber is 97 years old this year. And can you imagine during that time what we've gone through? The chamber's seen a Great Depression, Prohibition, the Dust Bowl, and a derecho. You know what? If we can get through that, we can get through this pandemic, right? So yes, exactly right, Josh. I see you clapping. I love it. All right. I'm now excited to introduce our sponsor, Bank Iowa, Bill Fry, who is going to tell us more about the amazing Bank Iowa. Take it away, Bill.
All right. Well, thank you, Catherine. And as Catherine said, my name's Bill Fry. I'm with Bank Iowa. We have been a sponsor of these events for, I want to say we're in our 4th year as well. So we sponsor the lunches and the breakfasts, and we partner with Shive Hattery on that. So that's been a great relationship, and I'm really excited about this. I was there for the first 42 sales tips in 42 minutes. So very happy to be part of this. It's one of the I think it's one of the most well-attended lunches that you have actually during the year. So we're very excited to be part of it and happy to help to deliver that to everyone. So a little bit about Bank Iowa. We have 25 offices across the state. Of course, the office that I am located in is here in West Des Moines, 1150 Jordan Creek Parkway. We are a full service bank. And so what I mean by that is we offer loans, deposits for both commercial and consumer. One thing that's keeping us very busy right now is our home loans. Home loans are at record lows right now. The rates are at record lows. And so that's been keeping us extremely busy. One of the things we like to say around here is let's make it happen. Some of you might know Josh Fleming. He kind of helped create that. But you know, in what we say, let's make it happen. Think about what's your it. Is it a new business? Is it a new home? Is it a new vehicle? Or are you just looking to do something different? And so we'd like to help make that happen. So again, thank you for the opportunity. And I'm really looking forward to the 42 sales tips. We've got a great panel, and thank you, Catherine. Much love, right?
Much love, much love. That's awesome. Thank you, Bill. And thank you for working on all the PPP loans right now, our small businesses, our medium, our large businesses. You know, everybody could use that support. So thank you so much for helping keep our region strong, Bill. It's really, really appreciated.
Absolutely.
Very much. I am so excited to introduce Blair Massa. So Blair Massa is the Executive Director of Ballet Des Moines, and I can't tell you how fond I am of Ballet Des Moines. I am a former board member, former president of the board for several years, and Blair has taken Ballet Des Moines to the next level. It's incredible to see all the work she has done. So I'm really excited to introduce Blair and have us tell us more about Ballet Des Moines, a brand new member of the chamber. So thank you, Blair.
Thanks for the introduction, Catherine. It's great to see your face. Catherine was my last in-person lunch before the pandemic hit, so that's reminding me that it's been nearly a year since I've been out in the world. Hello, everyone. Great to have an opportunity to introduce myself and all of you to Ballet Des Moines if you haven't had a chance to learn about us. We're located in Valley Junction in West Des Moines. As you probably assume, we perform all over the region at Civic Center and Hoyt Sherman Place, but also we perform at a lot of pop-up ballets really all over the neighborhood. And we also reach over 10,000 people within the region. So most of our audience live in West Des Moines, and our Nutcracker production every year incorporates about 400 kids from 40 studios, again, the most of which come from West Des Moines. So our footprint here in the community is pretty big, and we're glad to be a part of the chamber and of the community. A quick update, just in case you haven't been paying attention to what we've been up to. We've had kind of an exciting year despite the pandemic setting us a little bit back, but mostly just changing what we did. We were able to pivot. I know everyone uses that word, but we were able to pivot in a way that is pretty exciting. And we partnered with Iowa PBS to bring 7 ballets to the community this season. And 2 of the ballet broadcasts have gone live. One of them was on Friday night. It premiered. I'll pop in the chat a link to see everything if you're interested. It's all free. It's all available to everyone through the Iowa PBS portals and all of their technology. And one of the productions that we were able to pull together included the Civic Music Association and some musicians from Des Moines Symphony. And it's for children. It's Peter and the Wolf brand new world premiere. And we've been sharing that with school districts around the region, especially in West Des Moines. We've got a couple great connections to the West Des Moines school districts. So hopefully students in your neighborhoods are all participating in that program. IOPBS created a curriculum, a lot of learning resources and classroom resources to go along with it. So we're doing stuff for the kids, stuff for the community, and we've got 2 triple bills. One of them came out Friday, the other will come out March 12th. And we're deep in planning mode for next season. I did want to very quickly just let you all know behind the scenes that we have literally within 48 hours, confirmed that Ballet Des Moines will probably be able to bring our Nutcracker to the Stapleton Performing Arts Center next December. It will be a premiere of a new production of the Nutcracker. And we are just thrilled to be able to finally actually perform in our little neighborhood. Everything is very hush-hush. So even though I'm telling a room of 200 people, we are really excited that it's coming to fruition. We've been working with the superintendency and Valley High School. So we're just thrilled to be able to incorporate those kids into our production and bring it home. So that's our exciting news for now. If you have any questions, please shoot them my way. But I'll pop some links up so that you guys can click and watch.
I love it, Blair. And I love that you gave us a secret insight as to what's going on. That is amazing. And I love to hear how, committed and devoted to the West Des Moines community. Of course, the region at large and the state of Iowa loves Ballet Des Moines, but that's neat how you pull so many kids from our area. Just incredible. I mean, just think about it, you guys. We have a professional ballet company here in our backyard, right? That's incredible. So this is just another testament to how great West Des Moines is. So Blair, thank you for doing all the wonderful work, and can't wait to see those shows. So that's so neat. All right, we're going to get our program rocking and rolling. And Bailey's going to help us guide our timing a little bit. Everybody has about 7 minutes to impart their sales words of wisdom, and we'll kind of try to keep everybody on track with a 1-minute timer in the little chat. But so excited! So we are going to kick off the program with Carly Babington, who is with Remax Precision, and here we go, Carly. Carly, you've got, there you go.
There we go. Well, let me get my screen up here for all of you. Here we go. Well, Catherine, thank you for the introduction and here alongside all wonderful colleagues in West Des Moines. I really appreciate it. It looks like it's trying to load my screen yet. Can you see my PowerPoint yet? I'm not for sure if it's up or.
Yep, it looks like it's up. Your Zoom is a little wobbly. Do you know what I mean? Your connection is a little wobbly, Carly. Can you hear me? Okay, we might have lost Carly. That's okay. These are those times where we pivot. We're going to bring Carly back on. She might have had some technical problems. We've had a fire today, so we can do this, right? We'll get through this. So we're going to go next to TJ Bangs with Carrier Access, and then Carly will come back to you. But TJ, we're going to have you go ahead and help kick us off. So thank you, TJ.
Not a problem. Put me in, coach. I got it. So I got nothing to share. So I'm TJ Bangs. I'm Vice President of Sales for Carrier Access. We're a technology and telecom company headquartered out of Clive. I don't have any graphic. I'm just going to talk through it at a high level, and hopefully you'll find value in the nuggets of my 25 years in the industry. So first and foremost, number one for me is be a sales professional, not a salesperson. So a little bit of background and color for me. I'm actually a degreed industrial engineer out of the Iowa State University. Spent, unfortunately, 6 years to get my undergrad. I loved it that much. But in going through the process, I graduated, left, got into industry and realized that engineering was absolutely dreadful. Quickly looked for opportunities to pivot to sales, but I was stuck with the realm of reasoning around. I just spent 6 years to get my undergrad, spent 4 years in calculus, or 4 semesters in calculus, 2 semesters in physics. I'm like, I'm throwing this away to be a salesperson. And then it dawned on me, right, as I transitioned, that there's a huge difference in segmentation between a salesperson and sales professional. And the minute that clicked for me personally, I saw, right, not only my career, the company I work for, everything that was about me and my profession and excelling at sales, it changed the trajectory. So again, my advice is that as you look at any salesperson in the industry, if you view it as a job and it's just a matter of getting through every day, right, change your perspective on life. Look at the job as a profession rather than a job, and I think that will make significant impacts not only to you, but certainly to your success. Number 2 for me is knowing your value proposition to your clients and live it, right? So as I've spent 25 years in industry and have had the opportunity to work with and lead people of multiple different skills and primary attributes, you have people who would identify themselves as connectors, people who would identify themselves as making the sales process easy, right? People who would identify themselves as imparting wisdom to, right, add value to the buyer to make a more informed decision. I'm not here to judge which is right, which is wrong. My perspective is know what that value proposition is that you offer your clients and embrace it, right? Truly live it and give it to your clients every single day. Be certain on that topic. Number 3 is adaptability. So back to Catherine's statement of basically being a year into the pandemic and the shift that we've experienced as salespeople over the course of the last year. If there's anything that it's taught me, right, is we have to be adaptable. In our business, we do a lot of business over lunches, cocktails, dinners, right? And having that immediately pulled out from underneath our feet on a moment's notice was absolutely impactful. We responded and adapted, I think, incredibly well. But I think those that didn't, right, probably didn't see as much success in 2020. Not only do we see the shift in adaptation requirement in the societal situation of the pandemic, but perhaps a more subtle macroscopic change that we're seeing in industry is the demographic of buyers. And so I recently saw a survey from Gartner Group, which is it's an IT pundit subscription service, but they presented a survey. It was over 1,000 respondents of corporate America. And the question was, what is your preference for a salesperson free B2B purchase? So again, what's your likelihood of saying, hey, I can accept a sales transaction without having a sales professional in it, right? Which is, I immediately respond and say, oh my gosh, right? That's a threat to my person, my job, my livelihood. And when you see the statistics, it's incredibly appalling. So as you look at the chasm of buyers from baby boomers, 17% of baby boomers said that they would be agreeable or see value in having a sales process without a sales professional in it, right? Small number. 83% conversely say that, yeah, they would never do that. You pivot that to the millennials, the same response from millennials was 44%. So huge shift, right, of buyers and demographic of the value that they see in having a sales professional involved in the transaction. So my take is, right, it's our responsibility as sales professionals to make sure that we know our value, define it, and add it to the process. So we've got to find a way to shift and be adaptable to that 44% of millennials that don't necessarily think or see that we as sales professionals add value to the transaction. It's okay to be different. So again, as I've worked and led multiple different people throughout the years, whether you use office memes or you have a stage name like I do, one of the biggest challenges I have is when I'm out socially with a client, with a prospect, and we're involved in conversation, and the conversation comes up around the sales rep themselves, and they can't come up with their name. Right? What kind of impression or impact are we making on the client or the prospect when they can't arrive at your name when we're having a conversation? So again, my plea is it's okay to be different, be memorable, right? That's the biggest thing that I can say is I never want to see a client or a prospect walking away and saying, oh, by the way, who was that was servicing my account that I had that interaction with? Number 5, quick and simple. I'm sure you've heard the adage time after time after time, you've got 2 ears and 1 mouth, listen twice as much as you talk. I think it's incredibly important, incredibly relevant from a sales professional career. And my only supplement to that would be not to impart your perceived, right, situation of the client from what you hear, right, to what they're telling you. There's a subtle difference at times, right, from what you're hearing versus what you're telling them. And so always separate yourself and your personal thoughts and beliefs as you're listening and engaging with your clients, and truly listen to what they're telling you. Number 6 on my list is around sales process. So a sales process creates consistency, which creates success. So I'm not here to judge or to say that there is a single process for everybody. What I am here to say is everybody needs to have a process. And that process, right, should include steps around opportunity identification, qualification, proposal, closing. And so understanding and knowing what that process is for you, so that those that rally around you, right, can help partake, embrace, and participate in it. I think that is critically important to continued and ongoing success. And last but not least, time is money. As you're going through the process, make sure that the juice is worth the squeeze. So as you're qualifying the opportunities, make sure that the good prospect you can win, that it's worth and financially viable if you do win the business, and that it can be a success for you and for the. So with that, I think I ran a little bit long. I'm sorry, Catherine, I did my best.
Oh,
But,
you're so good. You're so good. I love the comment, make sure the juice is worth the squeeze. That's awesome. That's awesome. So I do have a question, follow-up for you. So what sales process do you use? TJ, do you have a process that maybe we can all kind of tap into that works for you?
I do. I'm personally a big fan of it. It's called the Challenger sale, but the primary attributes of it are teach, tailor the message, and take control. So those are the core concepts, but I'm natively an aggressive person by nature. And so for me, it just comes natural. For others, it absolutely may not, but that's a sales philosophy that I subscribe to.
Yeah, I love that. We learned that at the Business Records. So that's a great book. And yeah, I too advocate for that. So if you guys haven't seen that book, do check it out on find it at a local bookstore. That would be preferable, a local Des Moines bookstore. So thank you. That is fabulous, TJ. Love your words of wisdom. All right. So let's see, Carly, are you back on the line with us by chance? Maybe. All right, we'll wait for Carly. And here's something interesting. So Bailey is running our Zoom event right now from her car because we think our office is on fire. So more to come on that. All right, I'm happy to introduce Tori Glade, who is with S&S Employment Partners, and I'm going to give the virtual stage to Tori now. So Tori, take it away.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Catherine. I am thrilled to be here and really excited and interested to hear what everyone else has to say as well. I'll bring up here, I'm going to share my screen. So sometimes I think salespeople can say, gosh, that was a hard lesson to learn, right? But I think that is when we do our best, is when we learn from some of the mistakes that we have made as we've gone through our journey in sales. So my first tip, let's see. Well, let's see. I'm trying to figure out why it's not sharing. Can you see that? Oh, here we go. There we go. Okay. I remember when I was young and right out of college, someone that was mentoring and training me, they said, focus on your clients with them. And I stood and looked kind of, awkwardly at them. I said, what does that mean? So a WIFM is a word that's really always stuck with me. So WIFM is an acronym for what's in it for me from the client's perspective. So if we think about this, when you have a client that you're meeting with, or prospective person that you're meeting with, that you want to do business with, they're sitting there already not thinking that they're going to buy from you. So you want to go into that sales meeting with the WIFM in mind. So what's in it for them? Why should they buy what you're selling? Couple of things to think about. Can your product or service make them money? Can your product or service save them money? And could your product or service be something to make their life easier? My number 2 tip is being prepared. I definitely, over almost 25 years, I have grown in this area. It used to be, how many sales calls can you make in 1 week? It was dialing for dollars. But now I really think, gosh, I'm going to set myself apart, or maybe not, but I don't know that everyone is prepared. So when you go, whether it's a cold call or you're actually meeting in person, are you prepared? Know what the company does. It doesn't mean you have to know every intricacy, but are they selling widgets? Are they a service provider? What is it that company does? If you know a little bit more who their competitors are, that's going to give you certainly an advantage. Learn about who the person is that you're meeting with. Are they the hiring decision? Are they the decision maker? Are they the hiring authority? Or are they someone that can help get your foot in the door? Again, why do they need what product or service you are selling? So really go into it with a knowledge base. So you can certainly ask questions. It makes you just more credible and definitely more knowledgeable. One of my favorite quotes: by failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. So there's nothing more stressful from a sales perspective, going to a meeting that you are absolutely unprepared for. My number 3 is, it's critical to believe in what you're selling. If you believe that your product or service can fulfill a true need, it's your moral obligation to sell it. So if you don't believe in what you're selling, it's definitely an uphill battle. You're going through the process, you're trying to say how great it is, how awesome it is. In the back of your mind, you're saying, oh, this product is awful. So it's really important to believe in the product or service that you're selling, and believe in yourself. Believe that your story that you're telling is going to provide a benefit to the prospective client, and you have to sell with that conviction. This has been these are hard lessons to learn, but the longer I've been in sales, the more I know if I make a mistake, it is best right away to just own up to it. So we can make excuses all day, but at some point your client will see through that. So to me, in my opinion, it's just better to be transparent, own your mistakes. What else can you do at that point? We are going to fail. Failure is part of life. It's part of sales. It's part of everything we do. And again, if we're not learning from those failures, then that's on us. So when I think about failing or owning a mistake, it helps us to be accountable, right? It shows that we're responsible. When we're honest, it shows that we have a high level of integrity. When we're upfront, it shows that you're relatable. If in your mind, you are this big, huge ego, right, that you never make mistakes, it is really hard to make that personal connection and really connect with that person you're selling to. Number 5, your competition is not the enemy. I know for so long we have thought, oh, I've got to beat the competition. And while some of that is good, I'm a very competitive person by nature. I've, as an athlete, as a runner, as someone who's just trying to always improve on myself, I have learned over the years that my competitors, gosh, it's better when they're my friends. It's great to know them. It's great to learn from them. And most importantly, it is never a good thing to badmouth them. So when we think about our competitors, we think about, gosh, they're the bad guys. But when you think about it, that's a little short-sighted. So start thinking about your competitors. Why are the clients using those people? Are they cheaper? Do they have a better product? Have they had a longer-term partnership with them and learn from them? I have a lot of competitors in my industry that we actually piggyback off each other and we flip business and we're sharing referrals. And it's, I think you can do it in a friendly nature, but it's very, very important to not badmouth them. I know a lot of people out there are saying, oh, don't work with that person, don't work with that firm, whatever it might be, don't buy that product. But at the end of the day, it only is that's a reflection on you as the salesperson, because at some point, the truth comes out. And we do have competitors that aren't the best, not necessarily in my industry, but in general, right? But it's very important to never really throw them under the bus. That all shakes out on their end. So all you can do is take the high road, firm believer in taking the high road no matter what. Strike the right balance between respecting your rivals and focusing on how you can beat them, and then you'll have that winning formula. So really, really great quote. One of my favorites, and why I'm so involved and feel so strongly about the chamber, our West Des Moines chamber, is my number 6 is network, and network some more. So it is one of the biggest keys to success. Why should we network? Well, it builds character. I don't know any professional networker that loves to just walk up and meet strangers. Maybe they've grown to love it, but it can be daunting. It's a process that helps us build character and resilience. It also increases our confidence. The more that we get out there and network, the easier it becomes. I remember being 22 right out of college. I would almost want to throw up before I went and introduced myself to someone new or called someone new. So the more you do it, the more comfortable it becomes, and you will start to have confidence that you've maybe never had before. Networking also helps refine your sales pitch. I read a study that it's anywhere from 7 seconds to 27 seconds that you have to make that first impression, and that can be good or bad. So the more you are going through your elevator speech, your sales pitch, the more you practice it, the better you become. And I think it's very important to remember that you are your brand. So if you are really wanting to get your name out there, get your company's name out there, it is important that you're out in the public. Again, today it's a little different with everything being virtual, but I know that we're all excited to get back to that in-person networking. And the last thing I think that makes networking so valid and so important is it increases your circle of influence. I've heard the saying since as long as I can remember, it's not always what you know. I mean, that's certainly important, but sometimes it's who you know. So in my business of recruiting and staffing, I might network with people not because I necessarily think that they're going to be the decision maker, but maybe they know someone looking for a job. Maybe they could refer me to someone else. So I think it's important to say, gosh, who is my circle of influence? Are they people that I can reach out to? I would call Catherine if I had a question about, a chamber member or whatever it might be. So it's really important to get to know that circle of influence and build it. And my final sales tip, don't let the word no deter you. No can sound so negative and so harsh, and none of us love rejection, right? But I think a no, if you reframe it in your mind, it's not always a no. Maybe it's just a no, not today. I think it's important to ask why. What are they, do they need your service, first of all? Are they using someone else or a different product that's cheaper, a different vendor? They have a better relationship with someone else. So no isn't no forever. It's just not today. So the thing that I want to leave you with, I guess the last slide, is if we think about no and being rejected, all of us would have given up a long time ago if we let that stop us. And there are so many famous people that you may not realize they've been rejected multiple times. And if they stopped when they had the no, they would never be where they are today. So I think we can learn from the people that were resilient, they pushed through, and they didn't quit even when they had that perception of being failures. So those are my 7.
I love this. Your slides are amazing, Tori. I wonder if we can share your slides with our audience at the end of the event. They're fabulous, great tips. I mean, talking to strangers is hard. You clearly, have figured that out. And Tori is also an incredible ambassador of the West Des Moines Chamber of Commerce. So you are an incredible networker and just a dynamo. So thank you for all these tips. They're fabulous. I love it. And I especially love the never bad mouth your competition. That's a really good one. And it's one that people don't talk about often. That's such a love it. Amazing. Thank you so much, Tori. Fabulous. Fabulous. Incredible. All right. We are going to go to Adam Kaduce with R&R Realty. And Adam is back by popular demand. Adam also won our first annual UScellular Best of the West Best Salesperson Award. He was voted on as best salesperson by the entire community. We had 3,500 total votes for that incredible program. So we are just really, really honored to have you here today, Adam. So take it away.
Well, thank you very much, Catherine. It's a real honor to be back. It's a privilege to be with this group and associated with the West Des Moines Chamber. Adam Kaduce, I work at R&R Realty Group, and let me say, if your office is on fire, that is a problem we can assist with. Our business, obviously, commercial real estate development, but on a serious level, Catherine, do reach out. If you get in a spot where you can't get back into your office and you need a place to hunker, let us know. We'll get you taken care of. So, well, thank you very much. I've got 7 tips, and I've updated it from last time, and we've experienced a lot. Things have changed, and so thrilled to be able to be back and be able to present some things. So the first is ethics is everything. Des Moines is really a small town. Your reputation will precede you in almost every meeting you're a part of. And that can be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on your reputation. Maintain those ethics, be a person of integrity, and it will help you hook more meetings with decision makers in this community and will lead to business. The second is run your race. This is a lesson I really stress to our younger sales staff. It can be easy to get caught up with the Joneses and keeping up with the Joneses and that flash in the pan sales strategy. So what does run your race means? It means setting goals, sticking to them, executing on them, and staying disciplined. I still set goals on how many new people I'm going to meet, how many relationships I'm going to form a week, how many decision makers I'm going to meet. And it really involves setting goals at the front end of our pipeline. Want to fill that pipeline with as many prospects as we can, and then work them through the pipeline. So stay disciplined, stick to your strategy, and set goals and find a way to track them. 3, sales is about being a tailor. No 2 real estate deals are the same, and I'm sure your business is the same way. It involves being able to listen to our clients and taking what they tell us and custom tailoring that deal to them. I'll tell you what, most of the folks, when you ask them, your customers, what they want, it's not to be the cheapest solution. So take their feedback and work backwards for your solution. Too often we get in the habit of trying to sell our clients our product and not what they really want. Listen and start every meeting with questions to see what's most important to them. 4, expertise is everything. The best value I can provide my clients is information they didn't have or didn't have access to. My job is to be the real estate expert so that they can be an expert in their business. I saw that Warren Buffett spends 6 to 7 hours a day reading. Well, that's good enough proof that it works for me. So throughout the week, I print off interesting articles that I see, whether it's from magazines or online, and I save them until the weekend when I have time to spend a couple hours just reading material. It usually happens on the weekends with a glass of bourbon involved. But whether it's the Wall Street Journal or different magazines, you want to be able to stay up on trends. You also just want to be a conversationalist. As a salesperson, you want to talk to as many people as you can. So I get articles like Architectural Digest, Monocle, Whiskey Advocate, of course, the Business Record and DSM Magazine, to make sure that I can read and know what's happening in the community, because I want to be able to have those conversations with people, and I want to know the trends that are affecting my business and theirs to be that real estate expert. Number 5, play the long game. It's some of the best life advice I've ever received. But I tell you what, it's so important to be able to build those long-term relationships built on trust. It's actually so important to us at R&R, we put it in our mission statement. And you know what? The best part of sales is when you build those relationships for 25 or 50 years, and those people are a part of your sales career forever and become great friends. It's also about knowing that some clients are not going to be in your life for your entire sales career. You want to treat those people with professionalism and respect, but sometimes you just have to say no to clients that don't make the sales worth it. 6, make it easy for your customers to do business with you. How simple is that, and how often do we get it wrong? Survey your customers after the sale. What did they like about the process? What didn't they like about the process? Even more important, talk to the clients who didn't do business with you. What was it that didn't last, and what didn't they like about the real estate process? I'll tell you what, in our business, commercial leases roll over every 3 to 7 years, and you better believe I'm coming guns loaded for their business when that lease runs over again, especially if I know what they didn't like about our process last time, because I'm fixing it and I'm coming for their business. The last one, tip number 7, this is the only sales tip I didn't change from last time, and that is send handwritten notes. This is the closest thing I've found to a silver bullet in starting relationships and snagging meetings. I'll send out handwritten notes when new spaces come available to clients. I'll send them out with $5 Starbucks cards trying to snag a coffee meeting. I'll take an interesting article and throw a handwritten note on it and send it out to prospects. And I'll also send it out for notes of gratitude when somebody does something for me. No one does this anymore. No one sends handwritten notes anymore. And that's all the more reason I need to do it. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here today. This is a great event. I don't know about you. I didn't pick sales. Sales picked me. I love the innovation. I love the excitement that comes with it. And I love the deal. Now get out there and sell something. Thank you.
I love it. Get out there and sell something. I love it. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Thank you, Adam. Amazing tips. Really love it. I love the survey customers after the sale. I wonder how many people do that, and you don't hear of that often. So that's interesting. That would be good intelligence to have. Thank you so much. And yeah, so Bailey is actually running our Zoom event from her car right now because indeed, we are still on fire. So we may call you for some office space, and we'll see how that goes. So
We'll take care of you, Catherine.
Oh my gosh, crazy. What a crazy day it is, right? All right. Well, thank you so much, Adam. Really appreciate it. We are excited to introduce Josh Terrell with Benefits Plus Advisors Group to impart his sales words of wisdom. So take it away, Josh.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to begin to share my screen here. Okay. Thumbs up if you can see it. Awesome. So over my career's kind of 7 sales truths that I've known to be true. And so I hope you guys find some takeaways as well as my page full of takeaways. Awesome this far. So number 1, I believe discipline and communication is foundational, right, to a sales professional's career, right? And I love the term sales professional as opposed to salesperson, right? In my experience, these are the 2 characteristics that will mold an individual, right, to form great relationships. So discipline defined by Bobby Knight, doing what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, how it needs to be done, and doing it that way every time, right? Or repetition towards mastery. Communication is just being able to have effective and internal communication, right? Whether that's on a cadence such as weekly one-on-ones or coaching conversations, developmental conversations, and just being able to understand, help understand what your needs are, right? And being able to turn around and do that for your clients and prospects. Center of influences, right? Out in the community and your influences or your influence groups or radius circles and networks. I believe that, you know, in our business, I say, hey, I can teach you the insurance piece. That's easy, right? Anybody can learn that. What's really hard to teach is that discipline and communication, right? Effective communication. And so those are some of the skill sets that we look at and bringing someone on to manage a lot of our relationships or grow and cultivate relationships. All right. Number two, have an effective approach or call to your prospect, right? And I believe there's three components to that. Simply put, introduction, an objective, and a close, right? And I equate this to, you know, going to, if you're in school and you're going to a significant other's house, or, you know, you're courting someone and you knock on a door and say, you know, I'm looking for Jane, right? Dad's going to open the door and say, wait a minute, who are you, right? What are you doing? You know, I don't think that's a great idea. And you're going to have to start all over, right? So maximize that opportunity on the front end. Here's kind of a brief example that I pull. Hey, my name is Josh. Hi, John. My name is Josh, and I'm sure I caught you in the middle of doing something, so I'll get right to the point. I'm working or partnering with nearby businesses, and I had the opportunity to do just a little bit of research on your company and found that you do some awesome work in the community and really represent your clients well. I'd like to make an introduction with you because I think we might be able to provide some further value. Again, look, I know you're probably tied up, but I'll be in the area Tuesday morning or Thursday afternoon, right? Just again, a first approach and you know, the choice of two positives, what works better for you. But again, you know, like was said, be prepared for no, right? Be on purpose and be flexible. Ask a clarifying question. Use compromising statements. An example of that is, tell you what, right? Why don't I take you out to coffee, or let's share your favorite coffee at the very least. If you don't like anything that I have to say, we'll enjoy some Java over a nice frigid sub-zero temperature outdoors, right? Sound okay? Ask for permission to follow up, right? So don't let that lead go dead or cold simply because you didn't ask to follow back up at a decent time, right? Or in a time frame that they could remember you. So this time of year, we like to say, hey, tell you what, I'll give you a shout when the weather begins to change, and we'll see if it might be a better opportunity to have a conversation then, okay? Number three, be able to deliver or demonstrate your value prop, at least verbally, in about 7 seconds, right? So that you can earn the next 7 seconds. Being able to effectively answer what you do, how you do it, why you do it, and why should I care, right? And I think leading into that, being able to do some of the things you guys mentioned, research, preparation, and cultivation, right? Maybe it's another elevation, lead elevation or prospect elevation conversation you're having because this is the 4th or 5th time. So what do you know about your lead or your client or your prospect? Have you visited their social media to understand what's important, their website? Are they connected in a chamber community? Who are their center of influences? When is their anniversary coming up, right? Or what are they known for in a community? And are you relevant, right? Or are you still relevant, right? I think we have to ask that question as sales professionals because we can get stale or go stale with our clients sometimes, right? You know, be sure to tailor and customize your conversation or even your approach that we just took a look at based on what you know. Right. So I want to know, is this a sales call for me or is this a sales call for everyone? Right. And you get to make that determination. Follow up on purpose. Right. Follow up, be consistent. So are you relevant in your follow up? Right. A lot of times what we get, assuming that the lead or prospect is qualified, the very objection and in a lot of cases, the very reason you should do business with that individual, right? Or that would support your value prop. And so you have to figure out creative ways ways to continue to convey that. And so an example of following up on purpose, John may have told me, hey, I don't think our group would be interested in what you guys are doing, Josh. Thanks for your time, right? And I might call John back and say, hey, John, look, I thought about what you told me. And what I'd like to sit down is kind of understand a little bit more about the barrier to, the education or, the reasons your folks aren't interested. Can I ask you a couple of questions, right? You may not even go for the appointment at that time frame, but let John know that you're doing a little bit of research, right? Or you're listening and you're prepared to come back and turn around something that's going to speak to the very concern, right? In essence, I'm empowering the decision maker to tell me what they're looking for. And it's my job as the sales professional to come back and deliver on that, right? I think that's where value is created. Address all objections. So this one's so important. We refer to in our organization as empty nuts, right? So objections live in the form of money. Is it affordable? Is there any ROI, right? Time, is it worth me giving any focus to it, right? Maybe my time is very, productive, or my time is prioritized around the things that drive my business or make me money, right? Is this something that I should turn my head to? Is there any mutually perceived need or value present, right? Is there a need? Urgency, is this something that I need to act on now, or should I, kick the can, right? Is it easy for me to tell you to come back next year, right? Come back in 2022. And then trust, is there credibility? Do you have a reputation in the community, right? Can you support that? Is there confidence that you're going to deliver upon the things that are important to your client, right? And so the delivery of this can be very, very effective when done correctly, right? I think in the discovery. A great example of this is Amazon, right? And so, I'm a proponent of spending locally and, shopping in the community. But Amazon, this is how we have to understand how to get our business model right? And so from a money standpoint, I can shop many different options, right? There are a lot of different vendors that Amazon supports. From a time standpoint, I'm a few clicks away from browsing to closing the sale, right? In any given day. And if you're like me, that's super impulsive, you should have more clicks between the time when you find something and it goes in your cart. The need, right? I pretty much drove myself to the site. I want it. They typically stock it. And so there's a vast array of different options that I get to choose. And sometimes those ads kind of stalk you sometimes, right? When you're on social media or you're browsing through websites, they know the exact pair of shoes that you're looking at. Urgency. How many of us have seen there's only 2 left in stock, right? Or, hey, here's Amazon's recommendation. And so Amazon Prime is a great way for me to subscribe and be a consumer of urgency, getting it pretty quickly, right? And trust kind of goes without saying. They really pride themselves on customer satisfaction. Obviously, they're one of the largest businesses in the world and growing amid a pandemic where the world's becoming virtual, right? So address all objections in the form of empty nut. Planning. So 12-week year planning. This is one of the 2 books that single-handedly impacted my sales career. And so the reason why I've done many annual or yearly business planning documents, or anywhere from 5 pages to 50 pages, and what typically happens after you complete those is they go in a drawer, right? And life happens. You get busy, you start working through tactics and systems, and then it's very, very easy to forget what's important. Okay, so the premise of this book is really to act with urgency. And so a quarter is a year, right? The implications on a quarter or 12 weeks is a year. The implications on a month is worth a quarter of time, right? And so I can't waste this time. The implications on a week is worth a month, right? And every day is worth a week of time, okay? And so this helps us to look at our time and prioritize and ask the questions, what should I be doing today, right? Otherwise, we'll get into the default, right? And default can sometimes sound like this. today doesn't really matter, or right now doesn't matter, right? I'll tackle it tomorrow. I'll reach out and do that, right? And those things add up and snowball very, very quickly. Okay, so I would highly encourage to read this book. They're very, very reputable. They've helped a lot of companies that we all know, like, and kind of household names there. So highly recommend it. Lastly, EDGE, right? Acronym EDGE. And so this is our conversation model that works everywhere: work, home, church, consumerism, even dating, right? And so this is our 4-step process to looking to secure a client, right, or a prospect. So I want to engage early on. Engaging is very, very important, right, in setting the stage for the conversation that I'm getting ready to have, because I have a reflexive no that I'm dealing with, right? I read a stat that said 97% of people do not want to be sold right now, right? And so when I pick up the phone or I'm sitting in front of you, typically I'm trying to, or that decision maker is leaning towards no, right? Before that conversation even continues to evolve. So find places to talk commonality, find places to level set, find places to just relieve that trigger. Discovery. And so this one's very, very important, arguably the most important, right? And the objective here is to listen, understand, and pull away from. One of the things we use is prescription without diagnosis and malpractice, right? So this is where the sale is made, because if I have an effective discovery, they're going to tell me what's important to them, right? And then it becomes my job to guide that based on what they told me, right? And guide is simply truth equals close, right? So a formula based on the truths that they gave me back in the discovery. So I don't have to have a presentation that's, cookie cutter or molded to fit everyone. I want to be absolutely pertinent to what you told me was going to create value here, right? Or what your pain points were, or what your growth initiatives are becoming. And lastly, the execution, all right? So this is your ability to deliver an awesome process. So to marry the delivery and the implementation process with the value, right? To cement a strong partnership and be able to have, like you mentioned, Adam, that customer forever, okay? And have that repeated year after year, or whenever your cycle continues to renew, all right? That's all I got. I'm not sure where I am from time. Maybe I went over, but I'll toss it back to you, Catherine. Thanks everyone for the opportunity.
Josh, thank you for all the detail and the acronyms. I've been writing these down. It's really interesting. And I love prescription without diagnosis is malpractice. That I've not heard of that either. Holy mackerel. And it makes me reminds me of the make sure the juice is worth the squeeze. We're getting a lot of fun tidbits today. Thank you so much. And just so everybody knows, after this, you will get emailed a booklet that we created. Mallory Bailey First created this beautiful booklet that has all these tips in a book that you can keep and refer to time and time again. So everybody's got these great slides, but we are going to give you the ebook. You can keep referring to it. So thank you so much, Josh. Really appreciate it. And now we are going to go back to Carly Babington. She has got everything fixed. We appreciate, well, you know what, Steve, okay, let's go back to Carly. She's got her internet fixed. And if everybody can hang on with us for a few extra moments, we will go a little bit over, but it's going to be worth it. The content is amazing. So Carly, take it away.
All right, I'm so sorry about that. And now I can just do a nice summary of all the great tips that we've heard from everybody today. So I appreciate you guys bearing with me. Can you see my screen? Am I good now?
Yeah, you're good. You're so good.
Okay, here we go. So here we go. My name is Carly Pearson. I recently got married, still somewhat known as Carly Babington in the business world. And as Catherine said, I am a realtor with Remax Precision. I just joined the team in November. I've been doing real estate for a little, almost a year. And I'm in our new West Glen office, which is partnering with Oakstone Homes, which kind of feels like a beautiful home I work from every day. So it's not too shabby. So I primarily deal with residential real estate, but I also dabble in some commercial. So this is where you find me. My first sales tip is believe. I think in everything that we do in just a daily basis, you have to believe in yourself, right? You must be sold, which is our favorite word as a realtor, before you can sell. Because if I'm meeting with a home buyer or a client who's looking for a place to expand their business or to list their house, if I'm not sold in what I can offer, my services, what I bring to the table, my brokerage, my team, then how can I sell that to them to actually at the end of the day gain that relationship or make that sale? My second sales tip is knowledge. We all know that if you're not willing to learn, no one can help you. But if you're determined to learn, no one can stop you. Being able to educate somebody and going to the table with a toolbox full of knowledge, providing a solution, and really showing up, being able to educate somebody is really a win-win. I feel like 9 times out of 10, you're going to be so much more successful in at least beginning that relationship and starting the establishment of it when you come with knowledge and prepared to educate and provide a solution. My next one is audience. Audience is so important. So I can relate to a lot of different audiences. My background was in banking, some commercial banking, so I can relate to a client or a customer when I'm meeting with them on the financial side. I can also relate to a lot of first-time home buyers. I am a first-time home buyer. I can relate to somebody who's going through the construction process. I'm building a home. Being relatable and knowing who you can relate to is key. So knowing your audience, being useful to them, listening to them, and investing in them. I was part of the West Des Moines Leadership Academy a couple years ago, and one of my best and greatest takeaways that I think of daily when I'm headed into a meeting, and even in my prior management roles, was that a great leader listens. A great leader invests in their people, because it doesn't matter everything that I have to say and can give direction all day, but if I'm not listening to who it is that I'm helping, how can I really invest and find them a solution? And that also is with knowing your audience. My next sales tip is confidence. I know we all hear this word a lot and we see it on all these inspirational posts, but it is so true. We attract what we are ready for. First impression, somebody can tell if you are confident in your brand, in what you have to offer, in what you're selling, in any sort of sales role, any position. Confidence speaks levels, and that's going to make your customer or your consumer feel much more confident in choosing you to help them in whatever sales role it might be. We always attract what we are ready for. My next sales tip is persistence. The single most common quality of high achievers, they simply refuse to give up. I can tell you from my past careers, I have had 100 no's before 1 yes, but that's never stopped me. In fact, I really think persistence is kind of been my key in celebrating small successes and small wins throughout my life. I refuse to give up. Maybe it's not today, maybe it's not 6 months from today, but maybe in 5 years, because of that persistence, you're going to stay top of mind because you didn't give up. Now, perseverance kind of goes alongside of the persistence, but I love this quote because it's so true. It speaks to our character. Character consists of what you do on the 3rd and 4th try. So not the first time you email or call somebody, not the second time, but that 3rd, 4th, and 5th. You're persevering to get their business. You're still staying in front of them. You're bringing more education. You're staying up to date with what their problem is and providing a solution. You're persevering from the no's that maybe you had the first 5 times. But as long as you stay on track with that and be top of mind because of the knowledge, the confidence, the persistence, and persevering, you're going to eventually close that deal and make that sale. I think this is the key in all of our roles in every career, relationships. Business is all about relationships. That is what makes me get up in the mornings and so excited about what I do. How well we build these relationships determines how well they build our business. It is so true. Relationships are the key because as long as you massage those relationships, take care of them, and show them that you care, those relationships are going to give you a referral to somebody else, which is going to open a new door for a new relationship and a new sale. So when people ask me what I do, besides saying I'm a realtor, I say that I do business with people. I'm in the people business. It's so true. Investing in relationships is key. We need people to encourage and inspire us so we can encourage and inspire others. I guarantee that each of us on this panel today and all of us listening, somebody else encouraged and inspired us to do what we're doing today. And that's why we are where we're at, because of the inspiring and encouragement we saw from somebody else or one of our peers in the community. Now, anybody who knows me knows that I live by this quote, and I truly believe this and try to live my life like this daily. People will never remember what we do or say, but people will always remember how we make them feel. How we make people feel says a lot about who we are. And as long as people know what we do, but more importantly, know our why, and if we lead with passion and knowledge and believe in ourselves and confidence and persevere, I think we can all be very successful in our daily sales roles. So thank you so much for having me. And I know that we all learned a lot today from so many of these great peers and leaders, and I appreciate being a part of it.
Thank you so much, Carly. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad your technology worked, because that was amazing. That was incredible. I love all your tips, and it was so inspirational, and
Good.
so many things you said. I love that persistence, character, relationships. It's just beautiful. So thank you. Wonderful, wonderful job. So excited. All right, Steve Utsler is with Principal Midwest Business Center, and he is going to wrap up our amazing event today. So Steve, you have the virtual podium.
All right, thank you, Catherine. I've actually got a page and a half of notes, and I've got 2 or 3 ideas here that are close enough to some of the others that since we're already past time, I will go ahead and pare mine down to 3 or 4. As Catherine said, I am an advisor in the Midwest Business Center here in West Des Moines, but a lot of my comments come from my positions prior to that, prior to being on the front lines, helping business owners and individuals and families directly. I spent about 20 years in sales management. So the ideas I'm going to share are those that have kind of stuck with me throughout my career, the ones that maybe salespeople resisted less than all the other stuff that sales management tries to ingrain in them. I've gotten a lot of good feedback on these ideas over the years. The first one really picks up where Carly left off with her last idea, especially for people who are new to any business. They're starting a business, they're switching careers, they're rebranding, they're entering new markets. My advice is take inventory of all the people that you know that care enough about you that if given the opportunity, they will help. And for some of us, that could be tens of people. For others, it could be, 100+ people. But once you've identified all the people that would be willing to help if given the opportunity, you need to give them the opportunity. They need to know what you do well enough to recognize the opportunity to say, hey, I've got somebody you need to talk to. And I think a lot of people in sales are uncomfortable going to their friends and family and neighbors. They for whatever reason, feel that they don't want to press themselves on all of those folks, but those are the people that care enough about you to help. So make sure you put them in position to do that. I'm focused in my practice on the business market. I'm doing things to help business owners with succession planning and traditional and key employee benefits, things along those lines. So like many of us, what we do, our stuff, our value proposition is all about helping them be more effective, more efficient, increase revenue, save money, whatever the case may be within their businesses. And so idea number 2 is if you're presenting a value proposition that is going to help them within their prospective business, you need to take a genuine interest in truly understanding what their business is. When a business owner hears, I'm here to help you, accomplish one of those things that I just listed, and then you immediately launch into a whole list of the things that you do without asking any questions, or taking any time to learn about the business, they pick up on that. So a technique that I use and we'll pass along to everyone. If you're working with business owners, one, go to them. Go have that first meeting at their place of business and attempt. It doesn't always work. Time isn't always on your side or the environment, but attempt before sitting down, in their office at the conference room table or going into a meeting room of some sort. Ask for a tour. Ask them to show you around and tell you a little bit more about the history of the business. And you will be amazed at the information you pick up, literally having to ask, one or two questions, because that puts them in position where they get to talk about their baby. They get to talk about, the history of the business and how they took it over from mom and dad, and how, they just bought the land next door because they're doing an expansion project, or they might, have you shake hands with the person they just brought in to, lead their commercial sales when they've been primarily a residential sales organization. What was the WIFM, Tori's acronym? Having an opportunity to walk around somebody's place of business and let them just talk and, square up their shoulders and be proud of what they've built. You'll learn a whole lot about what they care about. So that's where you'll pick up the what's in it for them. I'm going to extend that to one more. A lot of sales training involves teaching people, especially younger sales reps, to ask good questions. Asking good questions is really worthless if you don't shut up and listen to the answer. And I've observed a lot of salespeople who go in equipped to ask 10 really, really good questions. And they ask question number one. And while the client is answering question number one and giving them all kinds of gold, they're focused on, now how am I going to ask question number two, as opposed to just letting the conversation flow. And oftentimes you don't even need to get to question 3 or 4 or 5, because if you ask the right questions early on and then ask good follow-up questions, you'll get a lot of great information. I'm going to skip to one that has always been, I think, important, but maybe more so today than ever. And that is, don't share your problems with other people. And right now, we tend to all have problems, some of them that we've never encountered before, with the virus, or how the virus has impacted our families or impacted our businesses. There's a lot of talk about being positive and being memorable. And I like to say, be somebody that the client wants to come back. They want you to come see them. They want to spend time with you. And if you use that precious time with them to talk about your problems, remember, they've got their own. Most people fall into one of 3 categories if you're lumping them based on sharing your problems. One small end of the continuum are people that, if you share their problems, their empathy score is so high that all of a sudden you've just given them one more problem that they're going to worry about. They're going to be concerned about you, and that's not that's not a good thing to do to your clients. The vast majority fit into the category of, they really don't care about your problems, not because they're not empathetic, but because they've got their own problems. They don't have time to put energy and time into solving some of their own problems or dealing with them. So sharing yours with them, that they really don't care because they don't have the time or the energy. And then there's a segment, and it's probably larger than we even realize, that When you share your problems with them, they revel in the fact that you have them. They take great pleasure in knowing that somebody else has problems that are worse than mine. But I feel strongly with the time that you have to spend with your clients, bringing them something positive, bringing them a passion about what you do, bringing them a smile is going to go a lot further than using that time to talk about the bad things that are going in your life. So we're at 11:13 on a very strict, we end at 1 o'clock, Catherine instruction. So I'll just sign off here for everyone and say thank you for your time and thank you for staying on if you did so.
Thank you so much, Steve. I love all of these tips and I love to take a tour. That's a great idea. And you're right. You probably gained so much information, just by doing that. And yes, such a great wrap up, Steve. Really appreciate it. TJ Bangs, Tori Glade, Adam Kaduce, Josh Terrell, Steve Utsler, just amazing tips. I want to thank you so much. I'm going to let everybody go, but go to our homepage. You can find out more about the West Des Moines Chamber, and we've got some neat announcements about our Black and Brown Business Summit that's coming up in April. So watch for more news on that. If you do not subscribe to our email newsletters, it's easy to do. Just go to our homepage and that'll pop up for you and you'll be way informed on all of the cool programming we do. So thank you again to Bank Iowa. And just wish everybody a wonderful, safe, and loving day. And happy Valentine's, everybody. Happy Valentine's. We love our West Des Moines Chamber family.